What's going on, guys, and welcome to a very special episode of Nintendo Tonight. This is our 2024 wrap-up Game of the Year podcast. We know it's only November, but November is coming to an end. There's nothing really big coming out in December, to my knowledge at least. The Game Awards has actually come out with their nominees, so we're going to be going through I think we have about 8 or 9 of the main categories, and we're actually going to be picking who we think will win each one, and then, depending on how many we get, we will either win or lose. We'll take a look at that after the Game Awards and we actually see. But first, we have some big stuff. We're going to be going through, each of us have 3 games that we're presenting as our personal picks for Game of the Year. Ironically, one of these games is just a game that we played a bunch this year, but didn't necessarily have to come out this year. But the other 2 both released within this year. We're going to be getting into that in a sec. But first of all, first things first, if you live in America and are listening to this on the day it comes out, happy Thanksgiving. I believe this, if all goes according to plan, this should go up.
Yeah.
On
Thanksgiving, Americans.
Yeah, PJ as a Canadian is feeling.
My Thanksgiving was a while ago, back in October.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Why is it different like that? Just
I remember I looked it up. I was talking to Kagan because he's like D1 Canada hater and you're like D2 Canada hater probably. And then I think Thomas comes after that. Anyway, we looked it up one time. I you know what? I'll look at it right now.
I'm like the Matt Castle.
Do you think it's Jack's got it?
Jack did it. Let's see.
Fall
winter comes a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Oh, actually, kind of makes sense. Yeah,
makes sense.
For once in Canada's life, it makes sense.
Boy. We're getting active, but
I'm thankful for Canada today.
I'm thankful for Canada as well.
Same too.
You know what? Thankful for the country. Thankful for all the maple syrup.
I'm wearing red for Canada today.
Oh boy.
Yep.
I wouldn't go that far. That's to change my wardrobe for the country. But hey, anyway, let's jump right into it. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of ground to cover. We're gonna get to the Game Awards soon enough, but first, let's go talk about our own personal picks for Game of the Year. So how do we want to do this, boys? We all have 3 different games. Again, 2 of them had to have come out within this year, but one of them could have come out this year or didn't have to. It's just a game that we played a lot and would consider our, pick for favorite game we played this year, I guess. Mm-hmm. Do we want to go all 3 go around and say maybe our, if we have a runner-up, then our true game of the year, then the game we played the most?
That was the order I was thinking of. I think that's perfect.
All right. Perfect. So I can start her off. My runner-up for Game of the Year, my second favorite game that released this year out of all the games I played, has to actually go to Super Mario Party Jamboree. I did not expect to like this game as much. And granted, I did not play a ton of games that released this year. A lot of my gaming time this year was taken up by multiplayer shooters with my friends like Overwatch, but that came out, 2016? So doesn't really count. But Mario Party Jamboree was an absolute blast to play with my friends every single time I played it. Mac and I and our editor Kagan actually last night just had an unbelievable game, which will actually be
ever.
Yeah, it'll be available on the Switched Up channel as a members only video, because we're gonna launch some memberships on that channel with behind the scenes and videos of us playing video games, Mario Party, whatever. But unbelievable game on King Bowser's Keep. Mac did win. Pro Rules, we played Pro Rules, and I guess you're the pro, Mac.
There's a little bit of controversy there, though, because specifically on one turn that changed the entire game, my Switch overheated, and I got kicked out of the game, and a CPU pinch hitter came in for me, rolled double 10s with my double dice, went all the way around the map, and got me a star and put me in position to steal a star in the next turn. The craziest thing I've ever seen.
It was the most unbelievable Mario Party thing I have frankly ever seen. Now, Kagan is now putting an asterisk on this win for Mac because he's saying that subbing in a computer, a CPU, is not allowed. But I don't know, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I've been loving Mario Party Jamboree. It's by far the best Mario Party on the Switch, hands down, and maybe best one in maybe over a decade and a half.
Yeah.
It's such a good game.
Just pretty much everything I wanted. Not everything I wanted, I guess, but a lot of things I didn't know I wanted were included. And then also just the boards are so much better. The boards are so much better than even Superstars, but especially Super Mario Party. Every board has a like a specific item to that board, which just makes the board so much more dynamic. It's a lot more fun. There's more customization with the addition of Pro Rules. You can kind of change up how you want to play, because Pro Rules does change things, a decent amount, new strategies here and there. So, yeah, I absolutely love this game. It was a pleasant surprise because I hate Super Mario Party, so the sequel to Super Mario Party I wasn't expecting to love like I do, but man, this game is so fun. It's definitely my runner-up for Game of the Year.
I like the pick.
Yeah. I've heard great things. Not a big Mario Party guy, but I've heard this is a banger, so fair enough. I'm sure a lot of other people will definitely agree with you. Mac, you want to go next?
Sure, I'll go next.
All right.
I was having a bit of trouble figuring out what my number 1 or number 2 was, because out of all the games I've played this year, there's probably 2 I've played the most of. And I really wanted to give this the number 1, but I think my number 1 just outdoes it just by a little bit. However, my runner-up for Game of the Year is College Football 25.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I knew that one was going to be on there.
Oh, yeah.
This game is maybe my most anticipated game of maybe my entire life. Like, the last time we had a college football game come out, I was 11 years old and in 5th grade in elementary school. And I was nervous for this return because, EA isn't, the most trusted game developer in the industry. However, they knocked it out of the park. Like, every detail of every stadium, all of the side modes, there's not a lot, but the ones that are in the game are really good. Road to Glory, like, you can like text people and like you can go to classes and stuff. Like, it is so, everything about it is just like, they put a lot of effort into this. But like, even the tiny things, like in the stadiums, I go to UCF in Orlando. If you play a night game, a rocket will shoot up in the air because it's a engineering school, and you can see rockets like come from Cape Canaveral on the East Coast. And the fact that they have that amount of detail into an EA Sports game is just absolutely absurd. The gameplay is 1,000 times better than what we've had in Madden in like maybe a decade and a half. And I was just absolutely blown away by what they're able to do. Get like actual players' names on the jerseys for once, now that NIL is like a thing you can pay the players. Like, it's an incredible game.
Yeah, Thomas?
I mean, I never picked this one up, but despite my friends hounding me to, I don't have a next-gen console, and my last... Oh, I don't even know if you can get this on PC, but my Madden 24 PC experience was horrible. Straight up atrociously optimized game. Although I love these sorts of games. Mac, what you got? Yeah. What you got?
I was gonna say this is probably the most expensive game I've ever bought because I didn't have a next gen console, and I bought myself a PS5 just to play this game. So, $500 in the hole for College Football 25. But I don't know if it was exactly worth it, but I definitely had a lot of fun from
all that matters.
What I played. So,
yeah. Well, you know what? At least you overtook me with the most expensive game bought in the entire group. So hats off to you.
Yeah.
Hats off to you because I, dropped that 140 one time for a DS cartridge. Yeah. Anyway.
No, this one looks, it's a great game. That's all I'll say. I mean, everything I've seen about it looks like they actually cared, which you don't see often, but yeah.
Yep. All right. So my runner-up game of the year, I'm going to be honest. I had to literally look at my Steam because I just blanked. I was like, okay, what did I play this year? Because I didn't play a whole lot of Nintendo, which we'll get to a bit later, I'm sure. But my runner-up for game of the year is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So this basically, for anyone that knows, is the kind of continuation of the Budokai Tenkaichi series that was kind of put on hold for so long. And finally, we got a... oh my god, an ad. Finally, we got a new game after all these years. The visuals are just amazing. The arena fighter, it's so good. Like, just calling back to so many moments from like the OG series and Dragon Ball Z up to Super, everything like that. So many characters that I think there's literally like a full page full. Like, if you think Smash Ultimate is crazy roster wise, this game's roster is even bigger. Now, keep in mind it's Dragon Ball, so there's going to be a bunch of different versions of the same character. Like, I think there's something like 10 Gokus or something like that. But still. But this is so fun. Like story modes, playing with friends, playing online, everything like that. Like there are a lot of tryhards, but still, it's a great time, and they cooked with this return to the series because it was a big year for that in gaming, right? We had college football come back, and we had the Budokai games come back. So
yeah,
big W for gaming this year for sure.
You could argue that all of our picks so far are like the return of a series.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. True that.
Be good because Mario Party was terrible before this, but this dude, this looks. I love the art style that they got going for this. Like I love whenever
the visuals are so good. It's like the best part. Yeah.
They sometimes like translating like 2D anime or hand-drawn style into 3D with the cell shading. Sometimes it looks really clunky. I don't know how they nailed it, but all the lines of the characters just look just right. Which normally I think is like either a little too thick or thin. But I'm kind of talking.
I don't think you guys have ever played this game or like.
Not only have I never played it, I've never watched a Dragon Ball game. But like despite that, or I've never watched a Dragon Ball episode. But despite that. Like this was a big deal when it came out. I remember seeing like everyone posting about being excited to play this game, which I guess makes sense because it was a return of classic series. But yeah,
182 characters.
Characters. Yeah. Oh my goodness,
that's crazy.
6,180 days and 182 characters. Now keep in mind, I would say Smash Ultimate still has the most impressive fighting game roster. I don't think that's a hot take or anything because this roster, it has a bunch of the same characters but like different power-ups or versions, right? So that's something to keep in mind, but still it's massive. It's so fun. Like it really is. It's great. Like it's one of those games as well that kind of went up to the 79 price mark, similar to Tears of the Kingdom, so that might have been a turnoff for some people, but it's great. So that's mine.
I love it. All right, now, do we want to move into our actual game of the years, or should we go to the games that we played this year but didn't happen to release this year?
Let's do played.
Let's do played. Yep, Jack said
we'll leave game of the year for last.
All right, we'll keep them guessing. So my game that I did not release this year, but I bought it this year and played a ton of it this year. This is going to be, I don't think controversial, but a little surprising. That game is Cyberpunk 2077. I had an absolute blast with this game. They updated it with this giant 2.0 update when they released the DLC campaign Phantom Liberty, which I haven't actually bought because I'm yet to complete the main story. My save file might slightly be corrupted due to mods and then them updating and breaking the game, which is slightly unfortunate. But that's my own fault for modding the game, and I'll try and figure that out. I haven't actually spent any time trying to play it again, but before they updated the game and broke all my mods and kind of soured me on it, this was an unbelievable experience. Visually, the best looking game I've ever played. Full stop. And it's not particularly close. I don't have the craziest. I don't have a 4090. I don't have the most insane PC, but I do have a 3070 and a decent processor and a decent, 16 gigs of DDR5 RAM. I think I have a decent computer, and I was not even close to being able to run this game at max settings or anything to, if I wanted to hit even 60 frames per second. But even though I kind of ran the game at somewhat mid, settings, graphical settings, I don't think I had ray tracing on or nothing like that. It still looked just leagues ahead of anything else. Now that the animations and art can actually play because they're not getting impaired by the technical master class, disaster class that this game was at its launch. Because I experienced no bugs. I'm just gonna be honest. I think actually one total bug in the game, and it was something that just didn't affect gameplay at all. This game is unbelievable. The story is so engaging, and I don't remember the last time I've played an open world game with this much optional content where the actual story is so well written that you almost don't want to go experience the actual content because you just want to mainline the story. You don't really want to veer off the beaten path too much. At least I didn't, because I was having so much fun with the different main quest lines that interweave together. There are these massive set piece events that these giant quests, which I think you can only play once per save file, but so fun. My only gripe with this game is, unfortunately, there is well, first things first, it's a long game. I still haven't finished it. I'm not going completionist, but I have kind of slowed down my progress on the main story to try a bunch of the side quests I missed out on earlier, and they've all been incredible, but it is definitely a longer game, and they also kind of want you to play it multiple times because there are decisions you can make. There's different endings from what I've heard. There's different decisions you can make that impact your character, like what you can, choose their entire backstory and stuff like that, which impacts like how different characters will treat you and talk to you and what relationships you can form with those characters. But this game is just so interactive. The story is so good. Twists and turns all over the place. Like, the characters are incredibly well realized. They feel like real people. The animations are just unfathomably polished. Like, the fact that they actually removed all the bugs and reworked like the skill tree and perk points and all that. Like, I never touched this game before that. I never thought I even would touch this game. But I played a little bit of it. I watched my friend play it a little bit at his apartment. And I was just like, wait, this game looks sick. And he was like, yeah, so you can do different builds for different, playthroughs. Like this one right now, I have like a build that allows me to slow down time and like air dash around with a katana, and then I can block all the bullets that are coming in, reflect them back at other people, like lunge through people with the katana. It's just unbelievable. Like you can choose exactly what kind of build you want. Like there's Watchdog, like you can play the entire game with like pretty much no like gun shooting and just like hack people. You can just do hacks. Like you can hack the security cameras, see where everyone is, hack the lights, like cause distractions with your hackings. You can literally, because everyone has neural implants, you can hack people to like turn off their eyes. You can reboot their eyes and just walk past them. Like
you hear that, Elon? You hear that?
Yeah, it's Neuralink type. No, but there's just so much in this game. I feel like if I had infinite time, if I didn't do YouTube and I didn't have college classes, I would probably have like 4 or 5 different full playthroughs of this game done by now, because like that's my one problem with it, and the reason I modded it is because you can't actually respec your character like after you've like used some of the points. Basically you use them and you can't unuse them, so it's or I think you get 1 like perk tree reset per save file, but that's kind of annoying because so many of the different like paths look fun. Like I don't know if I want to just max out my dude's armor, make him a tank, and run around with an LMG. Like right now I'm in a katana air dashing build where I can slow down time and like turn invisible for a bit. But that's one bit. Like there's so many different builds, and the fact that you have to do a whole new playthrough to experience those is a little bit annoying. But I would 100% do it if I had the time, and I probably will over the next couple of years, because I just can't. Like, everything about this game is so good. The soundtrack slaps. The soundtrack absolutely slaps. The like lore is genuinely really interesting. Like, you'll never catch me reading like codex or whatever, like the little lore log books that you can pick up. But sometimes I do in this game because it's just all really well crafted. It's a genuinely well crafted game. Which, again, I never played it when it released, but I've watched my friend play it on his base PS4. It was horrible. But genuinely, now that I'm playing it on my PC with all the patches, it is probably the like best, like the most well-crafted game from a visual narrative, like any perspective I can think of. I cannot sing Cyberpunk's praises highly enough, which is again ironic because I know it launched at such a poor state, but so good, such a good game.
Yeah, it's really impressive, like how bad the launch of this game was, and then to see like what the game like has become. Like it almost makes me wish they would have waited a few years to like make it
for sure
less buggy, because like this was maybe the most hyped game I've ever like heard. People were like losing their minds over this game coming out, and then
in my lifetime
stumble like that. But I'm so happy that it's turned out to be like a brilliant game. I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
All clarified that I actually went back after I was like about halfway through with the story. I went back and watched the original reveal trailer, and like the original like gameplay demos and stuff. There are still a lot of features that they promised that just aren't there. But when I was playing, like that's a perfect example. There's literally a flying car in like the first shot of the game. There are no flying cars. You can't buy a flying car. That's a mod you have to download. But like the just to be honest, you don't really notice that when you're playing, because there is so much there that like if you're someone like me who like was never really tapped into Cyberpunk, like didn't really care about the hype because it just I didn't, it wasn't my thing at the time, kind of like wrote it off forever after it launched, and then like you hear people saying, oh, they fixed the game, or maybe you see like a couple of YouTube video essays that pop up and it's like, this game was fixed. Oh my goodness, CD Projekt Red is like the greatest developers ever. They truly care about the community or whatever, when it's like, all right, buddy, it shouldn't have launched like that in the first place. But if you're like me and you weren't interested, but you have a way to play this game, doesn't matter if it's on console or you have a PC that's just decent enough to run it, I would just absurdly recommend. This is not my type of game. I'm not a big open world player, really. I'm not a big narrative. I'm not even a big shooter guy, but it's just so fun. The creativity you can the things you can pull off creatively in this game are what make it so fun. There's just so many different paths. Yeah. Player agency is crazy there. So that's definitely that's my favorite game of the year that I played that was not released within this year.
Yeah.
Banger.
Okay, mine's an interesting one, because I really have only played about an hour of this game. However, that hour of playing the game was maybe some of the most fun I've had playing a game this entire year. And that game is The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventure. That game...
Whoa.
Wow.
It is a technical marvel. The fact that it never took off is so sad, because playing through the hour of the game I did with our editor Kagan recording gameplay for a secret project we're doing, it was just it reminded me of playing 3D World, but it was a Zelda game. The multiplayer aspect of just screwing other people over and picking them up and throwing them down a pit or hitting them against a rock. And then all of the puzzles that have to go through, and you have to have communication with everybody, and then just not communicating and doing things that are bad in your worst interest. It's just such a fun game, and it makes me so sad that it didn't take off the way it did, because it's one of the most unique games I've ever played in my entire life. It is brilliant, and it is really, really fun.
Wow. I'm looking at this trailer here. I'm just going to be honest. I did not know this was on Nintendo Switch Online.
Me neither, honestly.
This is a Link to the Past 4 Swords. I'm talking about the GameCube 4 Swords Adventure.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Yeah, the GameCube one isn't on here.
Because it's not this. 4 Sword Adventure.
On the GameCube.
Yeah,
that'll work.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So this is the type of game that I feel like it's kind of gimped by the by just the nature of it. I think you needed to play it with 4 people. You needed 4 GameCubes, 4 GBA Link adapters.
You needed one GameCube
and 4 Game Boy Advances.
GBAs with 4 GBA
copies
Link
4
cables.
Copies of the game, right?
You only need 1 in the console.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, with the Game Boy Player or whatever, right?
Yeah. And it
Gotcha.
Honestly is so ahead of its time, because it really reminds me of almost the Wii U gamepad in a way, the way this is used. When you go into a room, it switches to your GBA screen, and then you look down there, and it's your own personal asymmetrical multiplayer while everybody else is doing their stuff up there. The fact that this was on the GameCube is insane. It is insane.
That's awesome. We even Jack, can you go back 5-10 seconds? There was a leaderboard screen that you can pause it on. It's gonna be
it is literally exactly what what I said with the 3D World multiplayer. Yeah, because you got all of the, I think they're force points. I don't think they're called Triforce points, and something like that. You collect them throughout the level, and whoever gets the most wins that level. So there's
I've never played this game, but you're selling me on it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We'll have to play it at some point.
This is one I would love to see a remake for on Switch.
Yeah.
Or somehow added to Switch Online or something. Because this would just be so cool. Because it literally does look like the best parts of 3D World's multiplayer in the Zelda 2D format.
Yep. That's exactly what I think it is.
It would be so fun. I mean, not even a port. What if we just see a new 4 Swords game in the future? Because obviously we have the technology now to be able to do that. That doesn't require, link cables and this, funny little thing called Wi-Fi on consoles now. So that's convenient with that. But looks like again, never played, but looks fun. Might have to check it out. Might need a little 4 Swords Adventures playthrough for sure. Yeah. All right. So moving on to mine. Oh man. So essentially, this is a game that I've been very critical of, I must say, but I still have the most hours on it out of the entire, Nintendo Switch library that I own. So Jack, if you could search up Pokemon Indigo Disc DLC for Pokemon Scarlet, that's what we're going to be talking about today. So it came out December 2023, and honestly, this is really fun. So we kind of go to Unova, which is really sick, and we get introduced to the terrarium, which is super cool. Basically, it's you go into this futuristic looking dome, and it has 4 biomes kind of laid out, and you can obviously encounter a bunch of different Pokemon throughout those 4, combined with a great story of this really sick legendary that was hinted throughout the entire game just to be revealed at the end in Terrapagos. And it's this cool little rainbow turtle dude, really sick. And then we also get some really sick callbacks to even the Unova games itself in different types of characters, like Drayton, who is actually the grandson of a Unova gym leader, Drayden, I believe. So that's really cool in and of itself. And then we've kind of, since Heart Gold Soul Silver, we haven't really gone to another region. And hinting back at Unova, obviously that's the next game to be remade in the Pokemon Cycle Past Sinnoh. Another really cool callback. Yeah, you can just see in the screen, visual viewers right now, all the different biomes you can explore on your ride Pokemon. You can even fly up to the top. There's some nice little prizes there you can explore. It's just really, really impressive. All of the stuff they were able to put in, considering how terribly the game runs, I must say. So it's shocking in and of itself. But I mean, hey, I love Pokemon Scarlet. It does have its issues, but this DLC was a banger from start to finish, whether it's the content, the story, the new characters introduced. There's so many things you can do in the DLC in and of itself, but just the terrarium overall, it's super fun. Highly recommend to any Pokemon fans that may have put this game away due to the amount of complaints that were kind of initially stated about this game. But definitely pick this back up. Check out this DLC because it truly is a banger in my opinion.
Nice. Yeah.
Yep. I got nothing to add. I mean, this is the type of game that
Oh, and you can encounter all the legendaries. I forgot about that. Yeah, you can catch a bunch of stuff. So that's really sick as well. Anyway, go ahead.
If I was really into Pokemon, I would definitely pick up this game. And if I'm being honest, it seems like Pokemon has been recently saving a lot of their best, coolest stuff for the DLC.
Yeah.
They definitely did that with Sword and Shield, and it looks like they did that here too with Scarlet and Violet. From a consumer perspective, I'm not entirely sure how to feel about that, but you cannot deny how cool this is. Just objectively, it looks like the best maybe mini campaign update. I don't even know what you'd classify this as, but if this game ran better, it would be the best Pokemon game hands down.
Was that Pokemon a bridge?
Seen, so.
Yeah. It was. It's actually, Jack, I don't know if you know this, but that Pokemon, it was a Gen 8 Pokemon originally that got a evolution in the DLC. And basically his evolution, when he's he normally is standing up or whatever, but in some move animations, when he goes down, he actually is a bridge from Unova. His whole thing is built off a bridge in Unova. So that's a really interesting callback as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, something I didn't know. I can't believe I forgot about this. Yeah, here's that legendary Pokemon I was talking about. It's really sick cutscene there. Is that in multiplayer, you can actually group up with a bunch of your friends and do these things called Blueberry quests to collect Blueberry points. So essentially, when you're in the Blueberry Academy, which is kind of in the terrarium or whatever, you can upgrade the stuff around there so that you can encounter all of the starter Pokemon from the entire series history, which is really cool. And change up your league room and just do quests so you can unlock points to be able to encounter all of these legendaries, so you can actually catch almost all of the legendary Pokemon in the series existence in this game. And if not, it's only one game back that you can't get them. But yeah, it's there's so much content. It really is so much fun. Any Pokemon fans that put down this game, definitely pick it back up, check it out, because it's definitely the best DLC in the franchise's history. And Thomas, to your point about them saving all the good stuff to the end, I agree. I think the only saving concept of that is that kind of near the end, they will, I don't know if you guys have seen like the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet like expansion pack like boxes, like they'll re-release the game with the DLC.
For like included?
Yeah. So it's like Pokemon Scarlet plus the DLC. So there's that, but obviously that's more expensive, but I still agree that they saved the banger stuff to the end, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, good to know. Hey, at least we got another like actual Switch game on this. So,
right.
I'm just going to be honest, guys. It's my turn for my absolute game of the year, and this one game is the reason I wanted to even do this segment in the first place. Jack is already typing the game into Chrome to pull up the trailer because he knows what this is. This is one of the greatest games I have ever played in my life. I cannot sing the praises highly enough. Balatro is not just my game of the year. It genuinely might be it's my game of the decade so far, and it's not particularly close. This game is unbelievably fun. I've never played a game that is so on its surface level simple, but so damn addicting. I have lost so many hours to this game. The fact that they put it on mobile, genuinely dangerous. I have this on my iPad. I have this on my computer. I have this on my phone. I play this all the time. We play it on the Apple TV. We put it on the projector in the common room. Jack has seen me and my boy Chris play this game so much. And I cannot describe to you simply how addicted I am to this game. There have been times where normally I bike everywhere in Boston. I bike to campus to take my classes. I bike to the gym. I bike to anywhere I need to go in Boston. I bike. As of late, I have been paying for the T, the public transit, solely so I can sit down on the T and play this game on my phone. That is not a joke. That is genuinely something I've been doing. This game is so fun. I'm going to briefly describe it to anyone who hasn't seen it or hasn't heard of it, because it is a bit of an odd concept, and the funny thing is, this is not even the type of game I would like at all. So it is a roguelike game, or roguelite, I guess, because you play through. Each run is its entirely own thing. Nothing really carries over between runs, except for you can unlock higher difficulties and unlock new decks to play on, and each deck has like a different perk, but none of them are really like overpowered than the other one. So there's no, it's not like you got to unlock the super good deck. It's just like they just have different ways of playing. Like some of them give you a bunch of money at the start. Some of them don't give you any money at the start, but you can earn more money later on. Some of them will change the way the scoring works. Some of the decks have no face cards. Like it just changes everything about it. And then the way this game actually works is it's kind of separated into two different phases. You have the actual rounds themselves, where you can play a poker hand, and each poker hand that you can play scores a different level of points. And there are actually hands in this game, like 5 of a kind or a flush house, which is a full house that's also a flush, that you can get, that obviously you couldn't actually get in poker, in playing one deck poker, because you can augment your deck. And that's where this game gets absolutely insane. During the shop phase, no matter, like, you get economy for just playing the game. There's different ways to maximize your economy. But during the shop phase, you can level up different hands, which will increase the base points and multiplier it'll give you. You can buy different jokers, which sit at the top. Normally you get 5 of them. Some decks, like I think the painted deck and the black deck, you can have different amounts of jokers, and you can get negative jokers, which don't take up one towards your slot. But the jokers are basically what make or break your run. The jokers apply different effects, whether that's plus, a standard plus 10 mult if you play a 2 pair. There's some that are insane though, like every discarded 7 will give you $5. There's econ jokers that help you manage your economy. There's scoring jokers. There's scaling jokers that will scale with you. There's one that's called the Baron, where every king that you're holding in your hand, holding in your, not that you play, but you're holding in your hand, will multiply your played scoring hand by 1.5 for every single king. You can also put steel card modifiers on those kings that will also multiply by 1.5. Put a red seal on them, which re-triggers it. There's another joker called Sock and Buskin that will re-trigger every face card. I can't describe how intense the grind for this game can be, because if you get the perfect setup of jokers and deck fixing to make your deck the certain way you want to actually make everything work together, you essentially spend 30-40 minutes over the course of a run setting up this ridiculous Rube Goldberg-esque machine where it's one Joker turns all your cards, one Joker makes all your cards count as face cards. One other Joker re-triggers every face card. One next Joker, every queen you play is worth 13 more mult or whatever. And then the next Joker will give you $20 every time you do, this certain hand. And then you can spend that money re-rolling on I just can't. It's such a weird gameplay loop to describe, especially considering I am not a deck builder type of guy. I'm not a roguelike type of guy. I am a poker type of guy, though, and this just completely scratches that itch for me of, it's not gambling, but there's a decent amount of luck involved, but there's more than enough skill to make it always feel like you're kind of in control. Like, sometimes you'll just get screwed, but most of the time there's something you can always do better. It's such a hard game for me to describe without showing someone a full run. But everyone who I have sat down with and been like, you got to see this, and I've shown them an entire run of me playing, has instantly went out and bought the game and is still playing it. Some of my friends have done that. My friend Benji has been playing the game after he bought it. He actually made the Nintendo Tonight logo, funnily enough, weird Thomas Life crossover there. But this game, and we'll get to this when we get into the Game Awards stuff, but it actually is somehow nominated for Game of the Year, which low-key I called. I'm actually really upset. I thought I said this in a Nintendo Tonight episode, but Jack, our producer, is saying apparently I did it. Apparently I just said it out in our common room to Jack and Chris, but I've been on this train because kind of mid-year for games, all things considered. Not super mid, but a bit slow. And then they somewhat always nominate one indie game, and I just figured this would be the game, and it was. And it deserves it so well. The music is insane. The graphics are perfect, genuinely perfect. I wouldn't change anything about them. And just there's so much you can do. It truly feels like you're spending you're just customizing. Every run plays so differently from each other. There's so many different strategies you can use, texts that build off each other. I'm gonna stop talking because there's no real way to just describe how perfect this game is, in my opinion, besides actually playing it and getting the use for it yourself. Because I initially saw this game and I was like, dude, okay, cool, but this isn't something I would play. This is so antithetical to everything I personally enjoy in a game. I'm not a big deck builder guy. I'm not a big roguelike guy. There's no action here. You're playing poker. I didn't think I would enjoy this at all. They put it on Apple Arcade. I was like, screw it, I'll download it, try it for free. I've genuinely logged probably multiple hours every single day since downloading that 3 months ago. This is an unbelievable game. I cannot sing the praises highly enough. Developed by one guy. He's super responsive to the community. It's just unbelievable. It's so fun. It's on Nintendo Switch too, actually. So
there must be crack infused into this game because I've yet to play it. But so all addicting. Of the praise I see for it, it makes it seem like it's God's gift to Earth. I would be so scared to download this because I feel like I would actually never work again. You'd never see a video on Switch Shop ever again.
This is eaten into probably 30, 40 hours of work time that I should have been doing work, and I was playing this game. It is unbelievably addicting. Addicting. You always kind of hear the just one more level, just one more run specifically for roguelikes. This is dangerous because a good run for me can last 30 to 40 minutes to beat, Anti-8, which is the boss before Endless. And I'll do one more run 4 or 5 times in a play session. It's dangerous. It's so fun. I can't it's so tough for me to pitch this game to people, which is unfortunate because all I want to do is get people to play this game because it's just so fun. But if you have any faith in me at all, please, as a game recommender, I guess, please give this game a try. If you have not, unless you think it will completely nuke your productivity. In that case, I can't blame you for not doing it, but because it has nuked my productivity. But it just unbelievably good. It is. I'm rooting for it to win Game of the Year. I don't think it will, but I genuinely think when I look back in about 5 or so years on my college experience, almost, I think this will be the game that comes to mind. There are different games that I associate with different periods of my life. I don't know if that's the same with you guys.
Yeah.
This is that game for me. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. I'm gonna play it right after the podcast is finished recording. It's so addicting. It's so fun too.
That's awesome. I remember we watched you play it once, and Chaotic But yeah, wild.
Yeah, it's just so good. It's just so good. Nothing else I can say. I'm a broken
Looks
record,
like
but
it.
it's so fun.
Nice. Well, I'll go next then. My game of the year has actually already been said by another person in here. It is Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Nice.
My first Mario Party game was Super Mario Party, and I liked it. And when I heard that other people didn't like it, I was kind of shocked because, like, at that point, I didn't really know what a good Mario Party was. It was my first Mario Party game, and I played it and I enjoyed it. So I was like, oh, this is just what Mario Party is. And then we get Superstars. I'm like, oh, these are actually some like fun boards, and like not every minigame has to be like motion controlled, and there's a bunch of cool different features on all the boards. And then you get Super Mario Party Jamboree, and you get 7 almost incredible boards. There's one bad board, but you don't even have to play that board because there's 6 good boards, and that's more than any of the other Mario Parties on the Switch. And every single board has just like crazy features. Like King Bowser's Keep, there's a vault where all the stars and coins stolen by Bowser go. And you just have like a 1 in 100 chance of getting it, and it like lowers like incrementally over the course of the round. And like that's just insane. That's a thing where you can just get the vault, and if there's multiple stars and coins in there, you just get it. The Rainbow Galleria is maybe, I think personally, my favorite Mario Party board ever. I think it is one of the like coolest boards. There's so many different like unique shops on there. There's a duel glove where you can buy from the expensive shop that lets you duel with other people 4 stars. Not to mention Pro Rules, you can duel 4 stars. You can bet stars on a duel match. Like, that's insane. There's chance time. There is the race car level, which has turbo dice with 4 different dice blocks. But if you use it, you pass the star if you go too far. Like, every single board in this game, besides Goomba Lagoon, is great. The mini-games are incredible. My favorite mini-game of all time, Domination, is there. I've been grinding out Domination, getting like over 120 mashes in like 10 seconds. Like, I've even the Sled to the Edge is also one of my favorite mini games of all time, seeing where the Toad lets go of the sled and trying to get as close to the edge as possible. I grinded that out for maybe 2 hours one night, just because like I was having so much fun listening to the music and like seeing, oh, that's 3 Penguin Island, that's 1 Penguin Island. Like, that mini game is great. And then on top of that, you've got all of the buddy mini games. You've got Waluigi's Pinball, which is an incredible mini game. You've got Junior's Jauntlet, which is another incredible
the Jauntlet.
Just all of the Jamboree.
People aren't prepared for the Jauntlet.
They're not ready for the Jauntlet. They're
no
not
one's
ready,
ever
for, the
ready for the Jauntlet.
My only complaint with the game is that the side mini games are bad, but like I've never played Mario Party for those. So like I don't even have to turn the camera around to go look at those because I'm directly focused on Mario Party itself. And the Mario Party itself experience is the best I've ever had playing a Mario Party game ever. So,
yeah.
I'm very pleased with this game. I think ND Cubed finally has their rhythm with Mario Party, and I'm just stoked for more Mario Party in the future because I have been having a blast with this game.
And they really hit their stride at the end of the Switch life cycle here. So obviously this is going to be the last Mario Party on the Switch. So going into the Switch 2, that's really sick. Obviously not a big Mario Party guy, but I've heard all of you like in Switch Stop talk glowingly about this game. So I can't blame you for putting it as your game of the year. I mean, looks really fun.
It's a banger.
Yeah.
It's a banger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, PJ, what's yours?
All right, so my game of the year it's not actually going to be a new game that came out. Well, sort of. We're talking about the remake for Thousand Year Door. I have the original one for the GameCube right there and got the pre-order Thousand Year Door for the Switch with the OG looking sleeve on it. So
nice.
That's kind of sick.
Nice.
I literally showed the wrong side. That's what I was trying to show. Apologies.
Oh.
That one there. Yeah.
Oh, that's
actually so sick.
That would make more sense. Yeah, it's actually Canada exclusive.
Canada
I know.
Always gets the best pre-order bonuses.
You guys
Canada
were slandering. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You guys were slandering before, but yeah, this is really sick. Yeah, that's this cool, game is just it was cool, eh? But no, this game is just a banger for real. No, you're good. It's just a banger. Like Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on the GameCube was already considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Mario RPG of all time. And when it got ported and remade on the Switch, it just pretty much became even better. Like the visuals are even better. I mean, we're not really looking for some big visual upgrade for this type of RPG, but still it looks so much better. The lighting's better. And there's even a badge in the game where you can kind of make the sounds like the GameCube game, because obviously like lots of new sounds for the remake, but you can actually take back to the OG with that. So that's a really nice touch. But Thousand Year Door, there's not much to be said because this game is, older obviously as a remake, but by far my game of the year. It's so fun going back and playing it. There was a couple of quality of life changes as well, where near the end of the game, before you go to the moon, you have to do an insane amount of backtracking. But thanks to, modern technology and realizing how terrible the backtracking was, they pretty much completely fixed this by just teleporting you from, chapter to chapter and level to level, to where that drastically takes that massive time gap from your gameplay down to not even a minute. So that's lovely as well. That was one of the main complaints about the game. But again, Thousand Year Door, goated. I can understand why the Paper Mario series is still chasing something as great as Thousand Year Door, and that's why they decided to remake it, because I think they really can't touch what this game was. So yeah, Thousand Year Door, game of the year, even if it's a remake on the Switch, for sure.
Yeah, like deserved. That's a great pick. I had a feeling you were going with it. That's a deserved game of the year, though. It's just a banger. Yeah, it is. I have nothing to say.
It do be a banger.
Completely deserved.
Mostly wanted to talk about it because of the cover. Because this is so cool. This is so cool. It's so really cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. They got the GameCube sleeve on the new Switch cover. That is quite dope. All right, let's move on to actually doing a little bit of looking at. We've said our game of the year. Let's look at the Game Awards. Not just Game of the Year, but a couple of other categories. I think we have 8 or 9 categories to go through. I mainly just want to briefly go through these categories, kind of pick who we all want to win and who we think will win. And then we can look at this back, maybe we'll watch the Game Awards live and react to it then or something. But could be interesting because these nominees are pretty, it's a big deal. So we're going to start off, I believe, with Best Game Direction. And taking a look here, the nominees are Astrobot for obviously PS5, Balatro, shout out Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. Now, one thing I do want to say here, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is a DLC expansion, which is a little bizarre that it's nominated for Game of the Year, and it probably will win. But I'm necessarily
110% rooting against Elden Ring, specifically
I think the fact that
DLC. DLC cannot win Game of the Year. That is insane. That should not.
I agree.
Not happen.
I agree. I almost feel like there should be a DLC category because that.
Yeah, I think there should be.
I don't know. Regardless of the fact,
even if it's like
a massive expansion, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, even if it's a massive expansion, I just feel like I don't know, man. But if we want to give our opinions on who we think is gonna win, I think Astrobot. Honestly, I feel like that really kind of broke out in the gaming space when people were like, "Oh, companies other than Nintendo can make these fun 3D platformers with fun music and lots of colors." Haha. But yeah, I think Astrobot takes this for sure. I would be kind of surprised if it didn't, but yeah, Astrobot just looks so fun.
I'm probably rooting for Astrobot here. I just think it's cool that a 3D platformer is breaking out that isn't Nintendo right now. That is kind of massive for that genre because besides Nintendo, it had kind of been dying. So
yeah, I think Astrobot probably will win. I'm not too familiar with Metaphor ReFantazio, but I would kind of dislike if it was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the second or third remake of Final Fantasy VII. I wouldn't really want it to be Elden Ring because that's the DLC. I think Astrobot will probably win. Obviously, though, I'm rooting for Balatro in any category that it is nominated in. So I'll just get that out of the way.
Makes sense.
So yeah,
nice.
We'll move on to Best Debut Indie Game. And the nominees here are Animal Well, which is from Donkey's Big Mode publisher, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and The Plucky Squire. Now,
I mean, we all know.
Yeah, Balatro, I'm rooting for it. Although I would like to see an Animal Well nod here, just because Balatro is nominated for so many other categories, and I believe this is Animal Well's only nomination. So from everything I've heard, that game is a banger as well.
I've played like 6 hours of Animal Well, and it's a really, really good game. I think an Animal Well win here would be really cool to see. I expect Balatro specifically because it's nominated for Game of the Year. Like, why wouldn't it win Best Debut Indie Game?
Yeah, logically you'd think that it would automatically have to win Best Debut Indie Game, right?
They always do that, man. They
stranger
always
things have happened.
If they put one indie game in Game of the Year, they also obviously nominate it for like Best Indie Game of the Year, or Best Debut Indie, and it always wins those. So it's like kind of a useless category at that point. But I would not be upset if Balatro won. Although if in my dream world Balatro wins Game of the Year, but somehow Animal Well wins the Best Debut Indie Game. So I don't know.
Yeah, I remember. Didn't we play Animal Well at PAX? I think we did.
I did. Yeah. I played Animal Well at PAX a little bit, and my general takeaway from that was really hard game to demo, because that's not a game that you can play like 20 minutes of on a show floor and kind of get the grasp of what makes it so fun. But even from what I did play, while I wasn't like, again, not a great game for demo purposes, what I did play, you could just tell the love and passion poured into it. So
yeah.
It's super
cool.
Next
up, we have Best Family Game, and this one is important because it features not one, not two, but 3 Nintendo games. Astrobot is the first nominee. Princess Peach Showtime is the second. Super Mario Party Jamboree is the third. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom gets nominated for Best Family Game.
Nice.
And then finally, we have The Plucky Squire as well.
Just really quick, I was laughing so hard because I remembered the time that I called Princess Peach Showtime a yapping game.
Yapping game, yeah. Dude, I genuinely think this is a sneaky Super Mario Party Jamboree victory. Even though Astrobot is nominated for Game of the Year, which would make sense if it, it should win any category that doesn't also have another Game of the Year nominee, just based off that. But I feel like Nintendo has won Best Family Game like most of the times they've had the opportunity to, and I think Jamboree is probably the better like family game than Astrobot. I don't even know if Astrobot has multiplayer. So I would say
Mario
Jamboree
Party,
actually.
right?
Yeah, Jamboree is what I'm pulling for, and Loki what I think will win.
With you.
I'm rooting for Jamboree, but I think this is Astrobot's year. I think Astrobot.
Really?
I feel it in my bones. I think Astrobot's win this.
Yeah. I don't know if it will win Best Family Game though. That would really surprise me, actually. To be honest, like I know Astrobot is like highly touted, but like I don't know. I would assume
I'd also give
Mario
a
Party
sneaky
Jamboree
nod to
win.
Echoes of Wisdom. I think Echoes of Wisdom,
even if that came out late.
Win. Yeah, that's the biggest thing holding it back, in my opinion, is that it came out like recently.
Well, Jamboree came out more recently, I guess, if we're looking at it from that perspective. But yeah.
Oh, okay then.
Oh yeah.
Echoes of Wisdom was
you're
September.
right. No, you're right. You're right. Huh.
But
Then
I don't know. I think Jamboree.
Then maybe
is the
it
most,
would be
like,
Astrobot
family.
in that case.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think Jamboree is probably the most like family out of these games, though. So I think it probably should win, but I don't know if it will. Let's move on to Best Mobile Game. The nominees here are AFK Journey, Balatro, Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero from Hoyoverse, which I believe is the company that does... I'm not even going to embarrass myself. I think they do Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, but I'm not entirely sure. Okay. Y'all know what I'm saying, Balatro. I don't even, I'm a broken record. I won't even say it again.
Right?
It simply has to be Balatro. It's kind of funny because Balatro is not a mobile game, but I guess by this definition it is.
It is playable.
The Game Awards website says for games playable on a mobile device. Wasn't originally developed for mobile, but they made it mobile port.
Then any Switch game should be available for Best Mobile Game because you can play it on the go.
Yeah, I think they're using phone logic here, but I don't know. But yeah, Balatro, we're going to go with it. Jack is highlighting AFK Journey big time. I have no idea why. That game looks generic as hell, but Jack is a big fan. All right.
Don't underestimate the AFK games. Interesting.
Is what Jack's
saying.
TCG
Pocket, visual viewers, if you know, it's great. It's great, but I mean, Balatro's clearly going to win. I also think TCG Pocket came out way too late for it to have a chance, but anyway. Moving on.
All right, next game we have Best Action/Adventure Game. The nominees here are Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. So just to start off here, I'm happy that Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown gets a nomination here. Kind of ironically, I have not played the game, but I've always been rooting for its success because Ubisoft should do more 2D platformers with the Rayman team, because the Rayman team is amazing, and I'm pretty sure one of the directors worked on this game. Unfortunately, I think this is probably guaranteed Astrobot, considering it's nominated for Game of the Year, and none of the other ones are. I would honestly be fine if anything but Astrobot won here. I kind of am like rooting against Astrobot for this one just because it's nominated for so much that it'll definitely get its own. Echoes of Wisdom would be great to see for Nintendo. Star Wars Outlaws, like I've heard such mixed reviews on that game. I can't really speak to it.
Agreed.
But yeah, I'm rooting for Echoes of Wisdom. It's probably Astrobot though, or Prince of Persia. I'm rooting for as well, but it's probably Astrobot.
I think it's an Astrobot wipe. I think this is very Elden Ring of last year-esque for sure. I think Astrobot takes this, but yeah, imagine if Zelda won. Imagine somehow.
I think it's cool.
Crazy.
Here.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, next up we have Best Multiplayer Game. The nominees here are Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, and Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
This reminds me of that image of like the soldiers and they're going around to a door. And
and there's like a clown.
And then there's the one clown.
Yep. That is Super Mario Party Jamboree in this lineup. However, I mean, it is a good multiplayer game. I think it's got to go to Helldivers 2, though. That game broke records when it came out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that game broke just so many records when it came out and was such a big deal for a while that I think it's also, like, so... Like, you don't really get co-op shooters anymore, if I'm being honest. It's kind of a somewhat dying genre, and Helldivers 2, like, just didn't care. Came in and just killed it, so... Sure. I would probably say Helldivers 2 will win. Obviously, I'm rooting for Jamboree, but yeah.
I think this could low-key, though, be a sneaky Black Ops 6 win. I say sneaky when it's like a massive franchise, but let me explain. I think a lot of people are really satisfied with the game. They feel that it's kind of like a, we're so back moment for Call of Duty. And plus with Game Pass, I think that was pretty significant kind of in its identity of why it's kind of doing so good right now. So I could see it winning, but I'm with you that Helldivers 2 probably gets the dub. I would be shocked if Jamboree won it because like you said, Mac, it is very clown-esque meme moment like. But anyway,
we shall see. I'm rooting for Jamboree. I expect probably Helldivers.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
We are narrowing down to our final two categories, two of the most interesting categories, in my opinion. Actually, the two most interesting. First up, we have Most Anticipated Game. Now, the nominees here are Sorry, I should clarify. This is just a game that has been announced, isn't released yet, and has, quote, demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. So, nominees here, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, which is the Ghost of Tsushima sequel, Grand Theft Auto 6, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds. Most anticipated game objectively has to go to Grand Theft Auto 6. If that didn't exist, I think it would be Prime 4, but GTA 6 just objectively. And I honestly am low-key rooting for it because I just...
I'm sorry, Metroid Prime 4, it is GTA 6. That is the most anticipated game.
It's gonna be so massive for the gaming world when this game eventually comes out, even beyond anything that GTA 5 could have wished. Everything we love and loved about that game is just gonna be even better in this in the next game. It's gonna be crazy. So I don't know, I would bet my entire life savings on GTA 6 here. There's just no way, right? There's no way
it's gonna be GTA 6.
Game of the year time.
All right, last category. Y'all know it. Y'all love it. Game of the year. The nominees here are Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, once again an expansion, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. Jack, can you scroll down? I'm just clarifying that there's no other. Yep, that's it. Okay. I believe these are the exact 6 games that are nominated for Best Direction as well. Best Game Direction, which was the first category we went over. Yeah,
oh
it's
my God.
literally the exact 6 games. So, I honestly have no idea who's gonna win.
I know the two I don't
Balatro.
want.
Screw it. I'm saying Balatro. I'm rooting
Anything-
for Balatro. I would be happy with the first two, honestly. Astrobot or Balatro.
The first
Black
two
Myth
are who
Wukong,
I'm rooting for. I'm rooting
I'd
for
be fine,
Astrobot
but-
or Balatro. I don't really know anything about Black Myth or the last one. I can't really read that.
So
Anything but Elden Ring DLC and Final Fantasy Remake. Why are a remake and DLC do not need to win Game of the Year? They do not need to win Game of the Year.
Yeah, I was just gonna rant about that really quick. I that is kind of stupid in my opinion. Like, why? Because it's an expansion. It's not a full. It's not a full game. The full game just won it last year. I mean, I guess they're giving them that respect to like defend their crown, but the lines get kind of blurred at that point. Like, why are we allowing a DLC? Anyway. Mac, about your thing about you've never heard of like Black Myth Wukong or what it is. It's basically like a Souls type of game, like a Dark Souls type of game, but a little bit easier. And then obviously starring Wukong. So there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Astrobot. I think I have a feeling it'll win, although I'm gonna be disappointed and low-key kind of expect Elden Ring to win. But yeah, like I said earlier, Astrobot kind of broke the barrier of, hey, we can do platformers too, or we can do 3D platformers too, not just Nintendo.
And it would be good.
There's a lot of character
competition for Nintendo. I think they would get a little, I don't know,
Dude,
nervous is the right word, but I think it'll get them moving a little bit.
I love when companies compete with Nintendo directly in terms of games because it forces them to be better. Not that the last 3D Mario experiences were bad or anything, because Odyssey and Bowser's Fury technically were like amazing games. But yeah, that's just kind of the point. But I'm going with Astrobot.
I am rooting for Balatro because I think it's just a good story. Like, an indie developer is Game of the Year nominated. Like, that's
it's always a good story. Yeah,
it's good. Good story. Secondly, I would probably root for Astrobot just because I think Astrobot's a good story also. I'm expecting Elden Ring. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah, me too. It's a shame.
I think that's what's gonna win. I feel it.
Jack's big into
highlighting Metaphor.
Yeah, Metaphor ReFantazio. I don't know anything about that game.
Me neither. Atlas developed, same people as Persona.
Yep, Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, all that. So,
there you go.
Yeah, good.
Also, I could low key see a Black Myth win as well. I could see that. It was like popping for a little while. I don't know. We shall see.
This is gonna be an interesting
Elden
one. I don't
Ring
think it's nearly as like everyone knew Elden Ring was winning last year.
This is a little more contentious.
Yeah. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from this lineup. But yeah, that is our Game of the Year special podcast episode 61. Once again, if you're watching this on the day it comes out, happy Thanksgiving to any and all American listeners. Hope you guys had fun with family. Everyone had a safe, healthy, fun time. We are going to be back next week again with another banger episode, so make sure to stay tuned. Lots of end of the year content coming up both on Switched Up and on Nintendo Tonight, so make sure to hit that subscribe button, add the podcast to your library, whatever you need to do if you haven't already. And yeah, last thing I'll end this on is if you're interested in any of the games we talked about today, check them out. Highest recommendations from all of us, but specifically, again, I'm shouting out Balatro. It's like $10, man. It's like $10-15. I really do think it's one of the best games I've ever played. So, shouting it out. But yeah, with that out of the way, thank you guys all for watching. Any other final words from either of you two boys, or are we good to end off the 2024
Elden
Nintendo
Ring,
Tonight?
please don't win. Please don't win.
Yeah.
I don't care if we have to rig it, guys. Please don't let Elden Ring win.
Yeah, everybody vote for. We gotta focus all our votes on one place. We can't let everybody spread out on Astrobot and Balatro. We need one or the other. Which one are we picking? The Nintendo Tonight Game of the Year pick. What are we thinking? I know.
I'm easy to sway.
Have
easy to sway.
either of you played Astrobot?
No, but it just looks fun.
I played the Astrobot like Journeys thing. That was
Astro's
like the demo.
Astro's Journey. Or
Playroom. Yeah, I played Playroom.
Journeys was the VR
fun.
one, I think.
Okay,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm fine. Sorry,
Balatro.
Balatro, yeah. Okay.
Balatro Game
Big
of the Year.
Balatro. We're Balatro guys. Of course, we play
We
straight
are.
flush on Ante 2. Thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all on the next one. I'm Thomas from Nintendo Tonight, signing off. Joined by Mac and PJ as always. Peace.
Later.